Hey, howdy, how's it going? My name is Bennjipie, and I wanted to make this video just as a, let me just get my thoughts out there because maybe it'll change in the future or something. So obviously, in Fortnite right now, we have the Chapter 2 Remix season, or Chapter Remix, whatever they called it. It's here now. It's been here for a while, and I know I haven't, uploaded or talked about it or really done anything. I have been streaming, though. I've been playing a good bit of it. I also streamed the event, so to anyone who came out and, watched it with us, thank you. But I need to get my thoughts out here, okay? I'm a bit disappointed in a way, and I will explain it, don't worry. But okay, first things first. We're gonna, kind of in a bit of a chronological order here, okay? Chapter 5, Season 4. In the middle of the season, kind of, whatever, we fought Doom, and then Doom was rifted away. He was beaten. That ended within a couple hours of that event starting and all that stuff. I don't believe that was a good event. If you want to know what I thought about the event, I have an entire video about it. I don't really think it was that good. It wasn't the worst of the worst, but it also was not amazing either. Then we had Fortnitemares, so you could kind of assume that maybe Doom was rushed a bit because they wanted to just have Fortnitemares happen. And then we had the end of the season come along, okay? Chapter 2 Remix, the prelude, or whatever the hell they title it, it was an event. It wasn't really a live event, it wasn't really a concert, it wasn't really anything. It was more or less, the best way to describe it, a live stream that we watched. That was it. We got a trailer and, two mini concert sort of things that you could view literally anywhere online. It doesn't have to be within Fortnite. This live event was absolutely terrible, and it was worse than the Doom event. I know Doom had some stuff involved with being in the game, but this was far worse than that, okay? A trailer is not in-game, all right? The only in-game element that we had was being able to look at this big screen that had the video playing, in which you can full screen it by pressing a button, and then eventually some little things happened, outside of the area in-game, but it wasn't a whole lot. The concert that we received from Ice Spice and Snoop Dogg was kind of messed up. Some of their audio wasn't good, there's little technical difficulties and things like that, but at the same time, the live stream was also at 480p. If you don't know what that means, it's at a really bad quality, and it didn't really look that good because it's a live stream. All of this stuff took place in Town Square, I believe, or something like that. But my main take on this is this shouldn't have happened. It should have been within Fortnite. Literally all you need to do. I don't understand why anything else needed to happen. I don't understand the Town Square sort of thing. If that's where all their budget went for this, they're idiots, because there was no reason for that. Honestly, this was terrible. If you're wondering what I think about a live event, it's supposed to be sort of similar to Marshmello. Marshmello was like their first one that they did, and then we had Travis Scott, which was even better. It was on the Fortnite island, he was interacting with stuff, your character was all over the place, it was from your perspective, and it was very interesting. Just go and watch that entire thing. I'm obviously having some of it play now, but if you watch the entire thing, it really just sucks you in because you have the music playing, it's in-game, it's Fortnite related. It's something that you need to be in the game to experience. Now, I know I said for the concert for, Ice Spice and Snoop Dogg that you could just look it up online. Obviously, you can look up anything online, but in this situation, this is something that you can see commonly, okay? You don't have to be in the game to see it, which I think kind of ruins the purpose. If Epic said, hey guys, we're gonna just stream this on Twitch, you guys can check it out there, that is pretty much the same thing. It in Fortnite didn't really make much of a difference. The end little bit that they had where, there's a bunch of stuff all around and all that, it wasn't that good. The quality was also really bad, sort of. I don't know what the hell is going on with that. But my main thing here is there's two ways to look at this. Either this is the end to a chapter that they are celebrating, and they did not do that whatsoever, or this is advertising and introing, in a way, to the next thing that we're getting. Pretty much like how at the end of most Marvel movies, we get a teaser or something like that, an end credit scene that just hypes up the next movie. It doesn't finish off something that was within the movie itself. So if they were just going for, hey, this is the next thing, we don't care about Chapter 5, we know you guys don't like it, then alright, I guess we can just assume that Doom was the end of that story for Chapter 5, and that kind of sucks. I wish there was a bit more to it. I'm kind of sad about it. I didn't even like Chapter 5, but it's still kind of disappointing. So the live event ends, we get like a couple hours, and then eventually the servers go down, all that stuff. There were some issues with the servers, whatever. That's sort of to be expected. I don't care about that. Then as soon as Fortnite was able to be launched and more people were able to get in, I think reload didn't work for a little bit. There was also a glitch that still might be in the game where you can actually have both of the islands merge together if you play reload or something like that. Really, really weird. I thought it was cool, but it's really not, super game breaking. You can always just leave. It doesn't have to affect you. And before we get fully into just gameplay, okay, let's sort of nitpick a bit of it, but at the same time acknowledge the trailer, okay? I believe it's like a minute and 30 seconds or something around there. And if you were to take everything out of the trailer that they essentially are advertising to you, basically saying, here is the thing that you can buy, there is a very minimal amount of content. My main reason as to why I'm saying this is because in previous battle passes and, launch trailers for seasons and things like that, a good example of this is Chapter 1, Season 7 for Christmas, Winterfest, all of that stuff. We saw planes in the trailer. It was a thing that was being used a lot. There was, certain things like that. Maybe a character's holding a certain type of gun that's going to be coming, certain things like that that should happen. And obviously, in this trailer, we saw Eminem have his minigun, certain little bits like that. There was the boogie bomb in the trailer, but there just wasn't, I don't know. That's why I'm saying it could be a bit nitpicky, but at the same time, I'm like, I'm not trying to nitpick it. I'm just like, whoa, like this is a lot of content that they're just trying to advertise. It's a lot of skins, more or less, than stuff you can do. I think the only bit of actual gameplay that I remember from the trailer is just them shooting a boat and the boat exploding, and that was it. Now, obviously, we have Ice Spice, Eminem, again, and Snoop Dogg coming to the game. Snoop Dogg has 2 different skins. Eminem already has 3, and he's getting another one. It's, I'm assuming, for his most recent music and stuff that he's done. And Ice Spice. No idea if she's getting anything else, but alright. And then a little tease, which honestly, I'm happy about the way that they're going about this. Juice WRLD's coming to the game. Now, if you didn't know, his mom is completely okay with it. That's literally the only thing that you can hope for when it comes to this. His family respects it, and that's perfect. Apparently, Juice WRLD really loved Fortnite, and that's great. That's all you need right there. That's the evidence. You don't need to push it any further. If people are okay with it that are his loved ones, that's awesome. They're also going to be honoring him by showing his silhouette in the clouds and things like that. A bit of that is leaks, but it's still something that's good. At the end of this month, his skin will be free. There's also going to be another version of his skin that I assume that they're going to sell, but there's still going to be a free version of him, which is a good thing to take away from this. Now, I would not respect this or like this at all if, per se, his mom was like, I did not agree to this, I did not want this, or, things like that. But she has fully admitted that, she's okay with it, so it's fine. Everyone needs to respect that the person that birthed this man is okay with it. All right, we'll leave it at that. But the trailer is a trailer, all right? If we're not going to really talk much about it and we're just going to say it's an ad or there's a lot of content in there, you just missed a lot of it. All right, let's scroll past it. We're into the gameplay section now. I will say that if by Fortnite Chapter 2 Remix, they meant, like for remix, they meant music, then they're doing pretty good. If they meant remix as in let's freshen it up and change shit, they didn't even really do that. I understand sort of what they're going for when it comes to having the bosses and stuff basically be reskinned into musicians and artists and whatever, like Ice Spice and Eminem, all that sort of stuff. Obviously, right now, as of me recording this, it's just Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is basically Midas, which is cool. On top of this, we also have Tiantina and the Meowscles new Midas version. They're on the map with their own mythic items, and I'm glad that they're here. Personally, I feel like we still should have, Gunner and Sky available, and then when Ice Spice and Eminem come to the game, you just reskin them, change the item that they dropped, and all that sort of stuff. I think that works better than just not having anything available in those areas. This is supposed to be basically Chapter 2 Season 2. They glossed over Season 1 because obviously they're not doing OG, it's a remix. So if we're taking it as that, it's a bit funky. Personally, I feel like if you're going to show a lot of content within your trailer or very, very minimal, at least 80 to 90% of that content should be available on launch. That's just for me personally. I know a lot of games like to slowly drip feed content. I don't personally enjoy that. I'm not saying that I need to get all of it all at once and then that's it, and then you need to continue to follow up with that much content every time. I just think it's good to have a big shebang and then proceed to do little bits and, sprinkle in content here and there after the fact. And I know I had brought up boogie bombs. The boogie bombs are pretty fun. I like the, the music and all that stuff, but obviously boogie bombs take away agency. They're very strong if you use them right, and that's, you could say a skill issue, but at the same time, it's not fun to play against or play with or anything. It's just fun if you're not taking it seriously. That's a real good thing to, think of when you're playing this game at this point. But even then, with gameplay, with playing against other players, it just sort of seems like the mythic items are very overtuned. I also don't know what they they were thinking of when it came to if you knock one of the bosses, they actually become a henchman of yours or like a NPC or some shit. I personally don't like this because you have the same weapon twice that's being used by both characters, and obviously the NPC is not super strong. But, you know, Midas's drum gun or Snoop's drum gun or whatever is very, very good. And the map itself just kind of seems very bare. You have the two corners of the map with, you know, special POIs with mythics, and then you have the middle of the map. Everywhere else is very pointless to drop at. And I say that because you're probably going to get like a purple pump and then not get much else. You're going to get minis and probably not even big shields. It's just like kind of stupid. And speaking of like, you know, getting purple pumps and minis, I know they've been changing a bit of it, and that's great. I'm happy for that. But did they play test this before releasing? Because I don't think they did. Any person who would just start playing, like if whoever was play testing said, hey, we're gonna put you against 99 bots, play the game or whatever. I don't know how they would do it. The person, there's no way that someone would be like, yeah, this is totally fine. There is no shields most of the time. And they've changed it, but at least to start, there was like no shields. Supply drops were able to drop 3 scars, and that was it for the loot. That is not good game design. That is laziness. That is rushing it as soon as possible and then fixing it later. Obviously, most games now have day 1 patches, day 2, day 3, day, you know, a week later patch. That it has been normalized, but it isn't okay. Like, that's not something that people should just be okay with. That's bad. That means they want to get away with, you know, fucking up something pretty much. And obviously they fixed it, but that's still, you know, it shouldn't have had to be fixed is my point. Something that shouldn't be fixed though is the car glitch that lets you just skyrocket up to, you know, space. If it wasn't for this, there would be like almost no mobility to get around the map. I do like the actual jump for the car, like the hydraulics, whatever they have set up for it. That makes it fun. It's actually much nicer to get around the map because you can jump up and then basically fly forward. It's good. I think that's good. And obviously we need a lot of mobility because they had the chopper in the game and then they vaulted it for no disclosed reason. It was just vaulted. This is more or less my point on if you're going to show it in your trailers, you should probably have it in the game. I don't think that the chopper was in the trailers, but it's sort of this thing of if it's available and it can work, and it's mostly just being imported from creative because obviously that's where most of your guys' stuff is like housed in a way. Why not just fucking have it in the game? There is no harm to it. More content is better than less content. The chopper I don't even think was buggy. It was perfectly fine. I've just seen people fly with it and that was it. Now if there's something to get under the map or something like that, then obviously vault it, but no one can figure out what the fuck is going on. And now obviously we need a lot of mobility because the map is pretty dry. The loot pool is also a little bit weird. You have the grappler, which has 20 shots, and hot take, we're just gonna say it right now, you should have to take fall damage for this item. At least now, for the way that everything is set up. Make it so that you have to take fall damage if you are to, you know, be in fall damage range or whatever. Otherwise, it makes it extremely strong. We have regular impulses, which doesn't make sense. Why don't we have shockwaves? I swear shockwaves were in Chapter 2, Season 2, but, you know, I could be wrong about that. And obviously, we have chug jugs, which you can move with now, which I think is pretty cool. Keep that. I'm glad we're moving forward with that. That's a good change. It makes it actually more fun for anyone to just heal. But with the map, okay, I kind of, you know, sort of go into it, and then I step away of, you know, talking about the map. The map doesn't feel right. If you're going to be doing a remixed season, you're going to be changing the stuff for Snoop Dogg, changing the way that his POI works, you know, all of that stuff. You're going to be adding a new place for the grotto with Eminem. You're going to be adding, you know, Ice Spice in the sky with the shark, whatever. Can we add, like, rocks and more trees around the map? If you guys have just played at all, you will notice that there is a lot of open space. This is for builds. If you're going to have 0 builds be available, and you're going to also have builds at the same time, you can make a difference between builds and 0 builds. I think it's perfectly fine for builds because that's what the map was created for. But if you're going to have 0 builds, make it so that there's just more cover. On top of this, porta-forts are not enough in terms of being able to spawn cover. First of all, they're rare. They're not uncommon like the porta bunkers. And they just aren't good. Everyone seems to have rockets very often, and if someone has a boat, which has rockets always, even if the fuel is down, you're just going to get your porta fort destroyed in a couple seconds. Now, obviously, this would be the same issue for porta bunkers, but maybe you would be able to carry bunkers and porta forts and not have this issue. I'm not asking for porta fortresses here. I'm asking for more cover. I'm a 0 builds player a lot of the time. I'm just very tired of builds. I tried playing builds to start off the season. I streamed it. That was awful. It was a big mistake. I'll show you some gameplay from it. People are extremely sweaty. It's like people boxing up into 4 different boxes, pyramids everywhere, all that shit. Then they crank up, do some 90s, and then they're just doing all this extra shit. And it's like, dude, I just want to fight. I don't want to, it's not a tournament. I don't really care. And obviously those are things that they can tweak. Okay. And that's why I'm saying this is sort of my thoughts and feelings now. I'm not too happy about it. I'm not too happy about the ad sort of thing. And clearly things are a bit of an ad because we have stuff like the music pass being slapped right on the screen. And I think this is the only thing that you can actually convert your XP into. I don't think it works right now for Lego. Regardless, it's still a bit weird. We never had the festival music pass or whatever straight at the main tab. I think stuff like this needs to be within its own section of the game that you would play for it. Obviously, there's a skin in it, but there's also a bunch of music related things. It just doesn't, it's not very organized. And on top of not being organized, it's like, hey, here's this thing you can buy. Here's this thing you can buy. Buy this thing. It's right here next to the battle pass, right before you get to like the item shop. I don't know exactly how that's set up. I forgot the UI, but here's the thing. Buy it. They also changed some fonts and whatnot. They also tried to change the locker. The locker is not changed really at all. It's a bit easier. You can actually scroll down between everything. I'll show a picture right on the screen of exactly what people have been asking for a very long time. It's really not that hard to just make this, especially for just someone who just plays Battle Royale. That's all you need. Have different sections, have different ways to load into those sections or whatever, if it's going to be Festival, Lego, or Rocket Racing, or your car. It's way too fucking cluttered. And if you don't know what people mean by this, you notice how in the picture that I'm showing right here, I know exactly what I'm thinking of. I don't have it in front of me, but the wraps, the emotes, and everything are just right there. They separate all of it into different categories. If you just put this all exactly like this, literally copied this photo, and then just gave the other modes their own sections even, and that you could scroll down to, it would be much better. Also, things like aura, that doesn't need to be here. This is Battle Royale, not Music Festival. Just move that to where it's supposed to be. I almost forgot to talk about it, but the Battle Pass doesn't really seem as good as even last year's OG Fortnite Battle Pass or whatever, the OG Pass. This Battle Pass has really little to offer. As a good comparison, even though it's remixed, so it's supposed to be the same thing but different, OG Pass managed to be completely different, yet still pay homage to its entire chapter that it was from. This Chapter 2 remix shows mostly just skins from Season 2, and that is it. TNTina, Sky, with a mixture of Guff, which is not a Battle Pass skin, that's just something you could buy. Brutus doesn't exist. Meowscles and Midas being merged is cool, but that's like the most interesting, I would say, sort of. And then you have One Ball. Why did we not make this a customizable skin? There's a lot of people who've come up with thoughts of like, hey, why can't we change the number, change the colors, all that stuff. They're bringing a lady version of him to the game. I think it's like 11 or some shit as the number. Regardless, why are we not doing that? Why are we not? It's not customizable. Guess what? I'll tell you why. It's because now skins in the Battle Pass and, you know, items and whatnot can now be sold going forward. So I feel like that's going to be a sign that shows over time where a lot of stuff just is not high quality anymore. In the OG pass, in which you cannot get, we had the Eternal Night, whatever night name it was called, and you could change a lot about it. There was a lot of customization. I feel like the 8-ball, 1-ball, whatever the hell you want to call it, skin was going to be that. It seems like the most customizable in terms of just a skin itself, like as a template for something. Now, obviously, that's a bit of a theory. I haven't seen anything that says that it was supposed to be or anything like that, but I think that this is a sign that we should be worried about skins going forward. I think there's going to be a lot of, you don't get to really earn much, it's just the skin and that's it, and it's basically like the most simplified version of a battle pass ever, and they're going to step away from doing all the cool stuff that they used to. Now, I will say that it is cool to have Snoop Dogg and Eminem coming. I'm not too excited for Ice Spice, but at the same time, she's bringing some fun weapons. Like, I think it's a Scar that makes you really fast, and then the Icy Grappler, which is probably going to be really, really fucking broken. They're most likely going to vault it, or it's going to make you take fall damage or something, because the last time they added it, people were flying across the map, so I don't know. But I will say that there have been leaks. There's been a lot of stuff. I'm not going to just fully say it out here. If you want to go find it, you know, you look at Hypex's Twitter. He's shown a bunch of stuff. He's talked about a lot of things in which it's things to look forward to. I think that's the best thing to note. If they fuck it up, though, they lose more players. There's been leaks of, you know, certain game modes being coming and being permanent, and, you know, content coming to the game with, you know, more stuff for Eminem, Ice Spice, more stuff to the map. maybe even a live event. But honestly, so far, Reload is very fun. If you're not enjoying this, just play Reload. They added solos. Solos needs to get changed a little bit, but so far it's a good step in the right direction. A lot of the stuff that they're doing right now is a good step in the right direction, and I'm happy for that. Thank you, Epic, for not killing your game more than you did. At least you're not Siege, you know? But yeah, this is more or less outro time. I'm a bit sad because I've had to record this video a couple different times. I don't know what the fuck is going on with my stuff to record. I use OBS, and then I import it into Premiere Pro, and it just, you know, I can edit it for a little bit, and then it just stops fucking working completely, and the video is corrupted, and it's so confusing. If anyone actually knows what that issue is, please comment that down below. But regardless, if you want to see more of this type of content on my channel, make sure to subscribe. And if you enjoyed, like the video. If you didn't, dislike. It's up to you. I'm posting a bit more on my second channel called Bennjipie Live. I've been posting, you know, trying to post highlights and other videos like of me playing with my friends, me playing games by myself. It's all over there if you want to see that. I have been streaming here on the main channel of Bennjipie and on Twitch. That is also Bennjipie. So if you want to catch me streaming, go follow those. And here, and sub here. Have notifications on or whatever, I don't know. Comment down below letting me know what you thought of like the battle pass or just this season as a whole so far. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great day, night, week, month, whole rest of the year. It really doesn't matter when it is, but I hope that's great for you guys though. See ya.